Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. So in this video I'm going to do my best to do a review on the Boujack. I do not have a copy of Boujack. I was not able to summon on this banner. I'm saving my stones just in case Sanday has some pretty good stuff. So I won't be able to summon on this banner, but just to go over Boujack and kind of show you what he can do. He's 170% Space Traveling Warriors category leader and 150% Time Travelers team. That's what we'll be running him on. He is 100% attack and defense, plus he gives 30% attack and defense to all Space Traveling Warriors plus 2 ki. He also gives them an additional 10% up to 2 enemies and an additional 10% on top of that up to 3 enemies. Then when he transforms, he becomes attack and defense 180%. And he also gains an additional attack 30% and defense based on the amount of orbs he gets. So he's pretty good. His link set is not the best. Essentially he links best with more of the Boujack cards. So his best linking partner is LR Boujack, which is slightly unfortunate because obviously that means you need an LR to essentially run this card at his full capacity. But beyond that, his link set is a little bit limited because one of his main key links is the Hera clan. You can get that from the new Zangya. So if you are not able to have Boujack, you at least can run Zangya on his team. She is a good card to run there. Then after that, you can have some Conquest of Terror units and some Revival units. So he does get key elsewhere. You could link him with a Demon King Piccolo or something. But overall, his best linking partner will be LR Boujack or another variant of the transformed Boujack's himself. He is on 8 categories, which is pretty good. Space Traveling Warriors, Terrifying Conquerors, Resurrected Warriors, Inhuman Deeds, Movie Bosses. So he's on quite a few good categories as well. Time Travelers, so it's pretty good. He's got quite a few categories for a movie boss card, very similar to Kula. So you know, overall it's pretty impressive. And this is the team we're going to run him on. So we're going to run him on a Time Travelers team, so we can run him under 150% lead. This does mean obviously that he's not going to have the full highest attack stats that he can possibly have. Because you know, we kind of can only run him on 150% lead, whereas he could run himself under 170% leads, but that's okay. In terms of the pairings, we're going to obviously link him with the LR Boujack that I'm lucky to have, and we're going to have the Toa act as a support along with Golden Cooler, and then we're going to basically just go from there. So in terms of team, obviously this is not a bad team for him. He's got a support on 2 out of 3 rotations, and he can link with his Boujack. So any team you can run him with the LR Boujack on is a good team for him. Similarly, obviously they're on all the same categories, so that's pretty good. The only thing is extreme strength. Team for extreme SBR, he won't be on the same team. But we'll take a look at his stats. Obviously he will do better against multiple enemies, and he'll still be usable on an extreme strength team. So here we can see that 115,000 defense, which is pretty good. This is a 55% card, so that's very, very good. And you can see he's got 4 links activated. If he has Big Bad Bosses activated, he's obviously going to be sitting at a much higher amount of defense. So just keep that in mind, that if you were to link level him, he would be at a much higher attack stat and defense stat. Attack stat there, pretty good, around about 1.5 million, which is obviously pretty damn good. Could definitely be better. I mean, obviously people will always compare him to cards like Cooler and that, but bear in mind, once his link levels are up, he will definitely be able to hit, you know, close to 2 million in this exact scenario. You know, Big Bad Bosses will give him quite a big boost. His Terrifying Conquerors will give him a bit of a boost. Hera Clan will give him a bit of an attack boost. So he definitely will be able to provide some better numbers. What we're going to do here is the Boujack in this stage has 99% damage reduction. So what we're going to do is we're just going to target him for a while and basically just try and get some stats out of Boujack. Maybe also try and get Big Bad Bosses activated and just kind of display Boujack a little bit better. Rather than going into something like the LGE where we have to go through a couple stages. and we can just kind of control this fight a lot better. In terms of Bojack, pretty good card. His banner is also really good, so I don't have an issue with people summoning on him. That's not why I haven't summoned. I would love to summon on this banner. I've just been having some pretty unfortunate luck. So here we go. We're sitting about 140k defense, really good. And we have no big bad bosses just yet, which is obviously great. Toa is a very good extreme type support, but she can run on a lot of his teams. So there's nothing wrong with running her there, and you know, it's really good. Obviously one of his best friends is also the cooler himself, the strength cooler, who will give him a whole bunch of buffs. So there we go, 1.7. Definitely getting up there. Obviously that's mainly from the support of Toa. We haven't activated big bad bosses or anything. He does stack attack and defense, but it's only for one turn, which means he can't stack from turn to turn. So 1.7, pretty good attack stat. You can see his Allah there getting some pretty decent numbers next to him as well. Both of them are sitting at a very impressive defense number. The Allah is also at 55%. So if you were to get both of these guys, their big bad bosses linked, get all of their links up to link level 10, I mean at 55% you're looking at like a duo that has close to 160k defense each, more than likely, because Terrifying Conquerors gives you another 10%. And also they'll be sitting probably, I mean Bojack will be sitting at over 2 million attack stat easy with some support. And similarly with this other Bojack, he'll be sitting at quite a high attack stat, probably 4.5 million. So very good in terms of the numbers that they're doing. So yeah, just from a raw numbers point of view, at 55%, which unfortunately will be the only stat that we have in this video, he is doing some very impressive work. So we can obviously keep that in mind. We'll take a look here. So we're sitting at 150k. Pretty good. We've got big bad bosses activated now. So this will probably be the highest attack stat, or one of them, that we will see a 55% Bojack do. We will try and get the Toa to be on rotation so we can see an even higher one, but 1.7 again. So you can see there that without the support and with big bad bosses activated, he's basically at the support level, like as if he had a support on rotation, which just shows you the power of big bad bosses, but also really just shows how impressive this unit is. And then we've got obviously his LR counterpart, Note, getting his 18 keys, so really doing a nice 2.5 there, but overall a super solid defensive rotation. I mean, considering the amount of damage they're doing, the lack of dupes, there's no real equipment on them, and they could both be under 170% lead. Definitely very impressive so far. Also, this bearing in mind though that his full passive is activated because he is fighting 3 or more enemies. But in SBR, I mean, that's generally what happens. You'll be fighting quite a few enemies, at least 2 or more, and most times Bojack will be able to get his full passive off, and then once the enemies start dwindling down, Bojack will be able to transform, and you'll be able to get some increased support and damage. Toa is obviously very good. You could have Zanya on rotation, so that would also be pretty good. She would help out the team, at least in terms of synergy. She wouldn't actually like be a support or anything. So we can see there with Golden Cooler on rotation, the numbers will go up a little bit here. We do not oh, do we still have big bad bosses activated? I think we do. We should still do. Actually no, I don't think we do. We'll see though. The attack stat will tell all. No, so we definitely don't have big bad bosses activated, I think. So we're sitting there with 1.85, which is pretty good. Again, these are some pretty just solid numbers overall. Nothing unsurprising for DFEs these days, but still very solid, especially considering we still have the transformation that we can go through. Obviously at this point most SBR would be over, but we're just kind of trying to display a combination of his stats. So we've seen him with big bad bosses activated without anyone on rotation. We've seen him with big bad bosses activated with support on rotation. So we're seeing a good collection of numbers here. I'm getting a good idea of how Bojack's going to perform. His worst attack stat being about 1.45 and his best one so far being about 1.85. But the defense is sitting at a really good point. It hasn't been below 100k this entire time. which is very, very good, obviously. So we want to keep that in mind. And then, yeah, the secondary rotation doesn't do too much damage. I mean, it does okay damage. They could definitely do better with some links, but I like this secondary Dragon Ball Heroes kind of rotation going on here. Time Travelers is an interesting team because of the Heroes category units, so yeah, it's definitely worthwhile. So we had 170k defense here. We do have Big Bad Bosses activated, I believe, because we are below 80% health. So we can definitely see the highest attack stat we will see from Boujack here. So we'll go and take a look. The LR will also get a decent attack stat. See, 4 million from the LR. Very nice. And then Boujack should come in with, I think he'll hit over 2 million. So obviously this is a very extreme situation. Yeah, 2 million. So just keep in mind that once you activate his links to level 10, which will take a while, obviously, for free-to-play players like myself, but you can get there if you just focus on them. Obviously, just keep in mind that the Boujack will pretty much hit those numbers quite consistently because he is sitting at, with Big Bad Bosses, he'll be sitting above 2 million easily, quite consistently as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to transform him now, and we're going to take a look at his attack stats there. And then we can just kind of see how he performs from that aspect. In terms of links, when he transforms to full powered Boujack, he doesn't gain any new links and none of his links change. Unfortunately, he keeps Coward, which is probably his worst link. They could definitely have replaced that with something else, maybe Shattering the Limit, or hell, even like literally anything else, like at all. This is just bad, like bad, but it's okay. Coward, it's on him. It would be nice for him to have the extra link to link with his LR, but that's okay. So we'll transform him here, and we'll get a pretty good attack stat with him without a support, which will be nice, because we do want to see how Boujack does without supports as well, and hopefully we'll be able to see an attack stat with him with the support. So here we've got Goku Rose, so no support on rotation, so this will give us a good idea of just a raw Boujack in his rawest form, obviously still linked with his best linking partner, and we'll just get an idea here. So we've got 110k, and we're going to transform. Let it play out. His track, by the way, is Beast. Okay. So we'll see how the Boujacks do. I think the strength Boujack will take him out. Don't check the defense, sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, decent attack stat, right? Nothing too crazy. Again, the big thing missing is that he doesn't have Big Bad Bosses activated, which is going to be a main source of both of their damage without the support. But it's good to see that. It's good to see that, you know, transformed without like too many orbs, without too much stuff going on, without support. That is kind of the damage he's going to get. That's the attack stat you're going to see. Like, people need to see numbers like this, because otherwise they see like people do the showcases of rainbow units or 55% units, but constantly hooked up with the best kind of situations, and yeah, it's just not going to help out. That's all good. It's good to see that kind of attack stat. I think the next time he comes around, we will probably see him with some support on rotation. I think he does get 7 orbs, so you'll see like literally the exact opposite of what you just saw. Seeing his almost perfect attack stat. So that's good. It's good to get some ideas of numbers. Obviously, he would have been higher than 110k defense, which is very, very good. He probably would have been closer to 140 without Big Bad Bosses activated or anything like that. It can be very, very good. So his defense is really, really impressive so far. I mean, if there's anything super impressive about this 55% card, it's that his defense is nuts, like right off the bat. So here we go. We got a bit of support from Golden Cooler, saying 145k defense. Big Bad Boss is not activated, so very impressive. He's going to get 7 orbs, which is going to activate his full passive. So just remember, after he supers, his defense will then be sitting with like a 30% upgrade. So we're sitting at like maybe 160, and they're much more impressive in attack stat. Really impressive. High number, that one. And he's going to KO himself pretty instantly. So yeah, so that was a good showcase for Boujack. We'll run one more Dokkan event with him. Same team, because we don't have much option without having Boujack, as the unit. But yeah, we'll run the same team here, and then we'll just take a look at how he's going to do. So as you can see, we managed to get Boujack without his LR friend, so this will also be a good idea of seeing his attack stat without his friend. But 111k defense, still obviously support from Toa, but as you can see, the defense with support, without support, with his mate, we're sitting at a solid benchmark of 100 and something thousand. And this is, no real links like super leveled up, no big bad bosses, no anything like that permanently done. Conquest of Terra not done, Revival not fully done, Hera Clan not fully done. So Boujack could definitely exist in a much higher hemisphere than what he's showing at now. Both at 55%, 100% cards. Cards with a dupe in them or two would definitely be showing out a lot more. 1.3 million there without any links pretty much activated, no support. But the defense is really good, and I think when you're measuring a card like Boujack, not that you only measure him with defense, but I think it's important to note that the defense is indicative of the state of the card. So yeah, his attack numbers may be lacking without his link sets and his pairings and whatnot, but he can link pretty well with Cooler. They both obviously support each other, which is a main thing. They both share big bad bosses, which is a main thing. So just from that alone, they'll probably get their attacks off and have decent attack stats. And just getting them to link 10 to see that is going to be the dicey role, so to say. But yeah, we get to see Boujack shell out a little bit in this one. We basically just see him perform against one enemy the whole time, so that's why I chose this event, so that we don't, see his buff against 3 enemies or whatever, so we can see kind of the max range of the untransformed state, and then we can go from there. In terms of events, Boujack would be good on pretty much anything that he's on the team for. Time Travelers category, movie bosses category events, eventually Space Traveling Warrior events, Terrifying Conqueror events, pretty much anything Boujack can be on. Boujack's going to be good. Resurrected Warriors. So Boujack is definitely something you're going to want to use, so keep them in. So we'll go 102k defense, pretty good. Links not leveled, no big bad bosses. So again, we're sitting at 100 and something k defense. Really impressive. I think Golden Cooler's support there was only the 20% passive. So we're sitting at a super impressive point here. Really just looking a lot better. So yeah, but getting back to events, Boujack would be good in pretty much anything, even when he transforms. Obviously his defense goes up, as we saw. It sits around 150k, 170k. So that means at 55%, maybe with a little bit of luck, he can withstand normal attacks from the LGE Goku. So even in long-term events or long-form events, he should be pretty reliable. If you got a dupe in him, basically guarantees him being ultra reliable for long-form events. So overall, there's just nothing that Boujack can't really do. It's more of just a question of making sure that you have the setup for him, and because of that, that means his LR partners or Strength Cooler really are the 2 units you absolutely have to pretty much run this Boujack. So that's the only downside to him. Like Zanya doesn't even pair up with him that well, so overall those 2 units are going to be the ones you're going to need to run this guy. Maybe DKP will be fine, but he doesn't have big bad bosses, so yeah. Overall, you really need the LR Boujack. If you don't and you have Strength Cooler, that's also fine. Those are the 2 pairings you're going to need to run this Boujack to get him to perform really well on all his content. So there we go, 94k defense. This is with no support, no links leveled or anything, no big bad bosses activated. So that's the lowest defense we've seen this entire video. 94k. With just a little bit of work on Heraclan or anything like that, you'll easily get it to 100k. So really impressed with the defense stat. We'll get him to transform, get his banging OST out, and then we'll get some orbs for him. We can only get 5 orbs, which is fine. That gives us a chance to kind of see his secondary attack stat. You can see we're already all the way up to 114, 1114. So you can see straight away that we are already up in terms of defense. And then with getting 3 orbs, our defense will go up again even further, probably to around 125, 120. So Boujack, pretty good. Nice attack stat there. Really good attack stat. So as you can see, the transformation really does improve him a lot. There we go, another one. So we're sitting at some really impressive attack stats here for 55%. He has the chance to additional, which means you can build him entirely crit, give him full crit equipment. And then yeah, it's just getting orbs. So beyond that, Boujack's pretty ready to go. Nothing much more to say about him. Obviously we'll finish up the fight here. We'll manage to get Boujack one more attack stat out of this, I think, because these guys won't be able to finish it off. So we'll get Boujack one more attack stat. Hopefully we can get him his full orbs as well. And I think he'll be linked with Toa, so I think that'll actually be the perfect turn for him. Obviously getting big bag bosses would be ideal, but we're not going to be able to get it here. But if we had him at link level 10, you can basically just add roughly, well, like a rough metric, like an extra 15% on, because it doesn't come out to like a true 25% on top, but yeah, basically you can just shove it on. So here we go. We'll get the full range of orbs. So you can see there 131 before orbs, pretty good. Grab a couple orbs, grab big bad bosses, and all of a sudden he's going to be sitting easily above 180k. And you can see we got all the links that we want leveled up, and we're going to hit all the orbs, and then we're going to see his best attack stat. So 8 orbs, full passive activated at 55%. And then we'll check out his attack stat, and then that'll be it. But yeah, so I hope this showcase kind of helps. Obviously I don't have the unit, so I couldn't showcase like 100% or anything, but I think it's good to take a look at the unit and just see him in action. I'll probably be doing this in future even if I don't get the unit, so hopefully it will help you guys decide if you want to summon. And yeah, that's just my thoughts on Boujack as a card. So there we go, really impressive attack stat to finish off with, and the LR will finish us off. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoy the video, and I will check you guys in the next one. But until then, cheers and bye.